guys, we are back once again with the flagship news show of the week, the news that we find interesting here from the perspective of the big bad wolf himself. I would be talking about none other than Ryder's Rasslin review and the whole crew's here. Look at that Jack little guy there. Unbelievable. You're an inspiration. My name is Jack Kilby, no gimmicks guy on the socials, and we're joined, of course, by the Godfather, the man who started it all, Morris Shortle, with the Hulkamania-like biceps there, and Mr. Ryder, again, the big bad wolf himself. Guys, how are you all doing in your respective time zone, whatever that is?
I'm doing well. Look at that upper chest development. You see that? Morris taught me that. See that? That's all Morris. That's
oh God,
my boy.
What
have we done?
You're seriously in training, I know, and we're going to talk about your likely opponent in the future, the beater of worlds, Sami Zayn, because of course he's in the news and his overpush and all the idiotic fans that are supporting him and saying that people are picking on him and blah blah blah. But before we get into that, Morris, how are things over there in the Emerald Isle? I know that your iconic national hero pulled out of the race for the head of state over there today.
I think, as Paul Heyman says, not a prediction, a spoiler, wasn't it? We said it last week. I said it last week what would happen, and it did happen. So, but unfortunately, there is other candidates that the government parties have been blocking. So at the moment, there's 3 establishment figures going for president over here, and they're not letting anyone else on the ballot. Now, Conor wouldn't have had a chance, but even people that wouldn't have the reach of him, maybe similar views, are not being considered to be president. So you want to talk about corruption in Canada, it's right over here too.
Outrageous.
Well, I know the way things are going. I'm planning on visiting Ireland next year and my ancestral homeland of Scotland. And by then, I think you will be the head of state there, and we'll have to visit you in the official residence. And I'm really looking forward to that. Keep on doing the good work, being a man of the people. Mr. Ryder, I know you're a man who also is dedicated to the greater good. Have you ever thought about running for, I don't know, say governor after DeSantis calls it a career?
Governor, no. However, I was going to run for mayor of Fort Lauderdale, and I had the backing of everyone, but you can't win because the way they district everything down here, a Republican cannot win. I'd have to run as a Democrat, and unfortunately, I can't run around with a rainbow flag.
Would you run as a Democrat and then do the Hulk Hogan NWO stuff afterwards, or what way would that work?
I considered doing the heel turn on them, but I'm obviously not going to be able to run like that. I could not tolerate that gaggle of lunatics.
Even though you are wearing blue tonight. You are wearing blue tonight.
I'm wearing blue. Very tight. Tight blue. I was cleaning my pool. It's been raining, so my pool is green. So I had to be outside of my muscle shirt and my camouflage shorts. I'm drinking vodka. Today's vodka day. I'm on a diet. It's vodka day.
Well, speaking of green, that's a good segue into the first major story of the week, and that is the fact that WrestleMania is leaving North America for the first time. WWE announced that WrestleMania 43 will take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2027 as part of something called their annual season festival. And of course, there was a big press conference with Triple H and several luminaries there. It reminded me more of a hostage-style video because they really didn't seem to be all that happy. And they're talking about the fact, I'll read a little quote from Mr. Levesque. He says, the dude whose name I'm not going to try and butcher, have made a massive impact on the world of sports and entertainment. They have been phenomenal partners to the WWE, and we look forward to working with them to bring WrestleMania 43 to new heights, and they're going to do the week-long gimmick there with SmackDown, NXT, 2 nights of Mania, NXT fan events. The first thing I want to ask you guys is, given that it's going to be Saudi Arabia, do you think that any of the traditional fans that, like yourself, Morris, that have made the pilgrimage, if you will, to the United States to go to Mania, do you think that's going to happen?
Is this going to be, this is how I'll start it, the first ever WrestleMania that you won't be able to get a beer?
Yes. Good question. Good question.
Well, then no, I won't be traveling to Saudi Arabia. Simple answer. And women are not like, they pretend women are respected there. Like, what woman is going to go there with her man over there? And, oh man, look, there's so many layers to it. But no, that place just seems like a nightmare. I was listening to somebody that used to live in Dubai, and he used to go to the UFC when it went to Saudi Arabia first. And what he used to do was fly from Dubai to Saudi Arabia, and then after the show, fly back to Dubai so he could have a few beers. But that's a lot of work.
It's too much work. Mr. Ryder, from the perspective of someone that was in the company for significant tenure, they're of course, they've always been, about cash, but don't you think that this is kind of the next step in terms of alienating their hardcore fan base? Lots of commentators are talking about that, but this seems to be just a whole new level of FU, so to speak, to the fans.
It's a terrible thing to do to the fans. And their press conference, the hostage negotiation they did, they actually brought the Sheik guy out that paid for it. His ego is through the roof. But he's literally sitting there pretty much telling Triple H who's going to get booked on the show. That is the death bell ringing for WWE. And I can assure you they're going to do that WrestleMania. And then right after, TKO is going to announce that they're selling. And they're going to sell to the Saudis. And it's done. That's it. This is an opportunity for AEW. They better seize on this. They probably won't, but they better. This is gold for them.
Would it be good practice for AEW to come up with their version of a WrestleMania on that weekend over 2 nights and do it at a normal time over in the States, because this WrestleMania is going to be on during the daytime over there?
If they could do a big arena, they could fill a big arena if they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I wouldn't blame them for going back to Wembley Stadium during that weekend. That's what I would do, because that's where WrestleMania should have been.
Yes.
If you wanted, that would make sense. I would go there. That'd be a great trip. No one's going to Saudi Arabia. The people there aren't even fans. They just have nothing else to do. They know who they don't know who these people Roman Reigns is in Saudi Arabia, nor do they care. They don't care who Charlotte Flair is. This was a good business decision money wise, but long term not good. But they're going to sell it, like I said, so they don't care. Most private equity firms have a 3-year plan. They want out in 3 years. In 27, it will be exactly 3 years.
Vince McMahon would have never done this, just to put that out there. And people will throw it back and say, oh, well, he brought shows to Saudi. Yeah, he did. But the shows that Vince brought to Saudi Arabia, they weren't serious shows, Like the way everything is a serious show now with WWE. People knew when Vince was going to Saudi Arabia the first few times. Horse shit, bringing guys back that were they're gone from retirement and back in just to keep them happy. But nobody took it as a serious show ever.
I'm waiting for my phone call. Can I get a payday on 27?
It's coming.
Let's have the enhancement talent battle royal in Saudi Arabia.
No. We keep talking about this, Mr. Ryder. They're gonna feed you to the beater of worlds here, Mr. Zayn.
He's going to go through Brock Lesnar first.
And we'll talk about that. But yeah, I find it interesting that they, from what everyone has said, as you pointed out, Mr. Ryder, the UK was supposed to get the first international WrestleMania. Now that's off the table. Similar to the WrestleMania situation in New Orleans, that's off the table. They move it again. So they also appear to be immune to the criticism that people are throwing at them about, human rights and et cetera in Saudi. And Bianca Belair, I don't know if you saw this quote, but I think I sent it to you guys, and I rolled my eyes when I saw it because how disingenuous. Check this out. It's amazing to be a part of a lot of great moments, the hospitality, the culture, the crowd are always great in Saudi. I think Saudi Arabia has become a space specifically for women to make amazing moments and make history. That's not just important for little girls and women to see, but for the little boys and men in the whole world to see. Every time we go to Saudi Arabia, I see it evolve more and more, whether it's inside the ring with women on the show or outside the ring, seeing women on billboards and posters. That became even more apparent to me. Last time I went to Saudi Arabia, we had an all-women's battle royal. When we came out, every single woman that came out, the crowd had a chant for them. Come on.
They were so excited to see the women that they were throwing small rocks at them.
And what you said there, Jack, about London supposed to have WrestleMania, what happened in New Orleans, it's not about who deserves it anymore. It's just about this. That's what it's about. If London had offered that money, London would get it. But that's not the way. That's not the way shows should be. And if they're getting so much money for going to Saudi Arabia or for hosting these events in different towns, cities, surely they can reduce their ticket prices.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that. But I think you're spot on there, Morris, because it was also reported this week that John Cena's final match was supposed to be in Boston, and then it leaked out that they basically tried to hold them up and say there was an official that said basically you've got to pay us X number of dollars to have the privilege of hosting the event. I think Mr. Ryder is 100% correct, and that they are squeezing this fruit to get all the juice out of it while they can, and there's going to be nothing left, and they'll sell it to Saudi. But one of the aspects of this story as well that people are talking about is WrestleMania week is traditionally, as you know, in recent years or the past decade or so, a full week event where the indie promoters promote various events in and around there. And apparently the act surprised, the major independent promoters are saying it's highly unlikely with the costs involved there that they're going to do anything. Game Changer Wrestling, Brett Lauderdale said something that he was approached by a couple of organizations to do the Middle East events, but it's too early to say if they're realistic. I guess they're leaving the door open. But is this not another way that fans are losing out on the WrestleMania experience?
Yes. And you know who else is losing out? There'd often be maybe 6 or 7 wrestlers that'd fly from Ireland to wherever WrestleMania is and wrestle indie shows for the week. So yeah, fans will lose out, but more importantly, some of those independent wrestlers are going to lose out as well.
Right on, Steven. That's pretty much my theory too on things, but it's sad watching it where it was in the Attitude Era to where it's gotten to. The Saudi Arabia, that's a gut shot for everybody. And what was leading up to this ESPN deal is a slap in the face to the normal fan. Now this is a slap in the face. How many shows you need in Saudi Arabia a year? There are like 3 already. Now we're going to now WrestleMania. I don't understand. I don't understand the point.
We're getting a Raw in Ireland, as I said to you, in January on the road to Royal Rumble. Mike, the road to Royal Rumble.
Also, I have a surprise for you, Maurice. You are also getting J.R. Ryder there in December.
Oh, very good. Christmas will come early.
I am coming to visit my friend Maurice for the holidays. The wife and I are booking a trip.
Nice.
So we're gonna come hang out with you for a couple of weeks.
Okay, we'll get you to a show over there as well. Bring your gear.
I'll bring I will absolutely bring my gear.
Yeah.
2-second squash match and 2-minute TV squash match for some poor Irishman.
And make sure when you do that, after you squash someone, that you call out Sami Zayn, because that's we got to keep this build going. Speaking of ridiculous ticket prices, have you? Okay, this was stunning even to me. Not only the actual basic ticket prices, they start, apparently a 2-day combo started at $700. Then it was $2,000 this week. Now it's gone up to $2,300. Like this, I guess they call it dynamic pricing, is killing fans. They keep going up, up, and up. But get this, the elite packages for WrestleMania 41. Have you heard this? Some of these packages, they call it the elite multi-platinum deal, where you get to walk out on the stage or whatever. $50,000 each.
It's cheap. That's a bargain. You get to walk out on the stage. It would cost you less to go to wrestling school, train your balls off 100%, and actually get there for a dark match.
Yeah.
Or run a few independent wrestling events and lose $50,000. Either way, I mean,
this is where they're. Listen, this is for every indie promoter in the world. All you have to do is book Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. All right, kiss his ass, and boom, he'll bring you to WrestleMania, and you'll be good. CM Punk, he figured it out. Kiss Ricky the Dragon's ass. Done.
He could probably still work too, but I think Morris, what you pointed out was really salient. I mean, say what you want about Vince McMahon, but he kept families in mind for his product, and my God, let alone the 50 grand platinum packages or whatever the hell they're calling it. Who can afford to take a family, say lowball $2,000 for a ticket? Who could afford to take a family of 4 in these economic times for that?
The sheik of Saudi Arabia, apparently. That's because that's who's buying them.
Oh my God!
It ain't Joe the plumber. You know, Vince McMahon, and people say, "Oh, first of all, I love Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was so good to me, and his family was so good to me." I really like sports entertainment far more than professional wrestling. And Vince was all about sports entertainment because he wanted to entertain everybody, and it was for everybody. Hulk Hogan was for everybody. Now they're just, I don't know what it's for. Even the TV show is not for, even the advertisers aren't for the normal person.
I see Triple H booked himself into NXT the other day to go head to head with Shawn Michaels and say, "What if I come back?" And I'm like, "Fucking hell, he's in enough places. Keep him away."
Okay, so I know the backstory on that.
Mm.
Spill.
They did that specifically so William Regal could say War Games, because they thought they'd get like 7 million views on TikTok, and they did. So that's why they did.
But they brought back Finn Balor with his old music and his old style, and that got 250,000 views on NXT on YouTube the other night, which was pretty cool. They need to split him up from that Judgment Day thing. Forget about it. It's done. Get rid.
I don't think it's done. I kind of like Judgment Day now.
No, I think it's went on too long.
That's okay. It's getting the other guys over. The kid with the big head, the Irish kid with the huge head.
JD.
How great is JD? Tremendous worker, 3 feet tall, tremendous. That's what he's doing there.
Yeah.
They're never putting a belt back on Finn Balor.
Mm.
Tag belts, maybe the IC champ, but he'll never get the world belt. It's a shame because he did earn it the first time when he hurt his shoulder, and then they punished him by sticking him in the rainbows.
Yes, and they never gave him a rematch.
They punished him for getting hurt. That's what they did to him.
Killing the demon too. But circling back to ticket prices in WWE, I'm personally I haven't been to a WWE event in recent memory, but this is why I get the word is, I guess, frustrated with people that knock AEW. I know it's a problematic product at times, but it's the only alternative that could resemble something that families could go to. And independent wrestling, I know people get on AEW for hurting independent wrestling in the US too, but I think you really, if you're a fan, you have to support AEW in this endeavor, because as Mr. Ryder says, soon there won't be a major company in the United States, and I just won't pay those kind of prices, because let's face it, the product that they put on is not worth what they're charging. How do you feel about AEW in terms of this? And I like Jim Cornette, but he's led the charge for years in terms of the criticism of AEW, and I think it's done a lot of damage. Maybe to quote events of this week, we need to turn the temperature down on that and accept it for what it is and support it in order to have that option handy. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, so Cornette's criticism of AEW is legit, correct, and I agree with pretty much everything he says about AEW. AEW's biggest problem is they're not entertaining. Christian's entertaining. Christian's got to figure it out, right? He's got the catchphrases, but the rest of the guys want to go out there and they want to do 3,000 moves and they're all the same wrestler. There's no characters. There's no character development. Little kids are not tuning into AEW. People aren't buying their dolls and toys and shirts for their 5-year-old. There's no heroes. They repackaged Edge as Copeland, but he's still Edge. No one's buying Copeland gear. They need to create their own stars, and they need to understand that they're in the entertainment business, not in the wrestling business. Because people don't like professional wrestling. They like to be entertained. That's why you had Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T and freaking Liberace playing the piano at WrestleMania, because it was entertaining. No one ever saw it before. They don't want to see the Super 8 tournament all night, every night. Doesn't work. Yeah, you're going to have a couple spots where you're like, wow, that was amazing. But if every spot is amazing, nothing's amazing.
And they still have Chris Jericho sitting at home, don't they? Because his contract is winding down. And shout out to Fozzy. They're opening for Judas Priest tonight, which is a pretty big thing for them.
Where's that?
I don't know, but I will find out. It's in America.
That would be certainly an amazing show to catch.
Mm-hmm. I have seen Judas Priest live many times with Rob Halford. Phenomenal.
I will find out.
I guess at the end of the day they have problems. It's just unfortunate that Tony Khan, with all the people that he's had at his disposal, doesn't turn over some of the or all of the creative. I know he likes to be on TV and that sort of stuff, but turn over those duties to a wrestling person and not be fantasy booking all the time. Do you see that as a possibility that he could ever give up the reins? It doesn't really seem so, does it?
Well, he's trying to be Vince, and there's only one Vince. He doesn't have the creative mind of Vince. Everything about Vince McMahon is intimidating. I've been intimidated twice in my life, meeting Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. The only 2 times in my life I've ever been intimidated. They're by those 2 guys. Right? Vince was a creature all his own. The guy had 22-inch arms his entire life, great shape. He loved the business, and he was all about entertainment. Tony Khan couldn't entertain a glass of Coca-Cola. He's a dud. So get off the camera. You be the CEO and spend the freaking money. Let Terry Taylor, Pat Kenny, Bubba Ray, myself, put us in a room, and we'll put on a great show that people love. Jim Kettner, call Kettner.
What's he doing lately?
Well, probably sitting in Delaware, retired with his feet up, bitching about wrestling. but telling funny jokes. He's a big Three Stooges fan. He's probably telling a Three Stooges joke right now. But no, seriously, make it family-friendly entertainment. You save those big, crazy, high-spot matches, maybe one every now and then. Make it special. They're not special because they're all trying to wrestle like Daniel Bryan. Don't do it.
That concert is in Alpharetta, Georgia tonight, and it's not only Judas Priest they're supporting, but also Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper is one of the greatest live acts you've ever seen in your life.
Mm-hmm. So big night for Fozzy. And
I saw him with Motley Crue, and he blew them off the stage.
And Tony Khan still paying Chris Jericho to drink and have fun. Good times before he goes back to WWE.
Well, God bless him. I think the fans need to continue to support independent wrestling in a big way. That's something that can only lead to better things for the business and get that old school flavor of wrestling that seems to be gone in both major companies. Morris, just checking in on the show coming up in April. How's that going?
Which show in April?
October, wrong month.
October, yes. All the physical tickets are gone. So we'll have about 100 more, I think, over the next couple of weeks, and we hope to sell those. And actually, in speaking of tickets, OTT, the big wrestling company here, I was there last Sunday in a town maybe 20 minutes from here, small town as well, 150 people there. But their 11th year anniversary goes on sale in the morning, so I'll be getting tickets for that. Normally, they'd have a few big names over. Last year was the Judgment Day when Balor and JD got to come over. I don't know if there'll be anyone that big this time, but we shall see. Super Crazy's coming to Ireland this month, and Carlito. They're both coming over and wrestling a few shows here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Super
Crazy's a great guy. He got his ass handed to him by the Kingpin Angel Medina in Philly in May. So hopefully he's recovered from that beating and that clean victory that we had there. But I'd be remiss if I did not mention that Flex Wrestling, we're closed, folks. Friday, September 26, 2025, Mud Creek Bison Ranch in Savona, New York, in the beginning, featuring the main event of the Man Beast Rhino against a real amazing competitor on the Northeast Indies who's also been involved in some major promotions, Sean Carr. It's going to be the start of something big in Finger Lakes Extreme Wrestling. Those tickets are available at flexwrestling.com. If you're in the Northeast, you're in Ontario, you're in Quebec, you're anywhere there, check it out. It will be worth your while. Now, the next story is Kevin Nash. Did you see this? Kevin Nash again, not what he tweeted last night, but he blasted AJ Lee for mocking mental health and therapy in WWE Raw promo. I'll just read you what he was referring to on his podcast. He said when AJ Lee was talking about her mental health journey, which I hate that phrase, journey, and talking about therapy for bipolar, the crowd was chanting therapy. And he said they go on a rampage during a promo and say that while they were off, they went and got like therapy and took care of their mental health, and people start chanting therapy. And then you realize that she didn't go get mental health. This was a wrestling angle. We're kind of mocking therapy. Is this something that we feel is good? Of course, CM Punk will face, she and CM Punk will face Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in a mixed tag coming up this weekend at WrestlePalooza. What is going on with Kevin Nash? He is, to use the phrase, seemingly become softer than baby shit in his old age.
I wonder though, in a serious way. I know, like his son passed away about a year ago. Unless that's affected him somehow, I don't know. But these takes are not very NWO Kevin Nash. Let's just say.
Mm-mm.
Kevin Nash is the greatest out of the ring worker in the history of this business. That man, when he would sit down with Dixie Carter, would leave with $50,000 every single time. That dude is the greatest out of the ring worker ever. With that being said, I don't know if he's ribbing people with these liberal comments or not, because the Kevin Nash I know is a drunkard, hilarious, strip club going, hilarious human being that best friend is Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I gotta tell you, I think it's a rib. It has to be a rib. There's no way he's going as far left.
Is it just for views on the podcast? That seems to be a big thing these days.
Maybe, I don't know. But the Kevin Nash I know would never say these things. He was a vulgar, hilarious human being. A good guy. I'll give him a very good guy. But I can, the whole mental health thing, I kind of agree with them that they made a mockery out of it. I understand what he's saying. He didn't say it well, but I understand what he's saying. AJ Lee to get in the ring to the crickets that she came out to. And I like AJ Lee. But to go in there and brag that you went to therapy does not make you look strong. It makes you look weak as fuck. And Becky is going to eat her fucking lunch. And it made Punk look like a complete wimp. None of that promo was any good. She should have gone out there, not said a word, and just punched Becky in the face. She didn't have to say anything. The fault was they made her talk, and she ruined the whole thing. So I agree with her. She shouldn't have brought it up.
But these were obviously lines that she was fed, though. You know,
I don't think she was fed lines to say she went to therapy. Like who would write that? No one would.
Triple H.
But Punk Baby wrote it. But it was not a good promo in any capacity. It was bad. It was bad from Jump Street. She should have come out with a big reaction. She didn't have to get in the ring. She could have just walked out there and just punched Seth Rollins in the face and left. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The worst
Kick him in the balls. Kick him in the balls.
She's 3 feet tall. And she's talking about going to therapy for her bipolar disorder or what she's talking about.
With Kevin Nash, though, I used to listen to his podcast, but he really took a turn almost from Jump Street, talking about politics and his ideas on politics, and I don't understand why these people do that, because I can promise you no pro wrestling fan was tuning into his podcast to hear him praise Joe Biden and all the putting cups he ate in one day and had his nappy and stuff. Like it was just so much that I actually unsubscribed and stopped listening to him. And I was the biggest Kevin Nash fan back in the day, NWO fan that there was, and he just seemed to lose the thread. But Cornette also started that, and his podcast was way before Nash's. So I don't know if they think it's a way to get listeners, but you're turning off a lot of people, whether you're red state, blue state. I don't want to hear it when we're talking about pro wrestling. I think you lost the.
Is Sean Oliver still on Kevin Nash's podcast as a co-host? That's a shame. Sean seems like a nice guy.
He is. Yeah.
Again, Kevin's a very nice guy. And Jim Cornette, listen, I have nothing but praise and respect and thanks for Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is very left. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what he hates. He grew up in the country, in the middle of the woods.
Well, my friend Kenny Bolin, Star Maker, has said many times that it's a work. And he said there's no way he is that liberal, and it's a total work.
I have a Kenny Bolin story.
Hit us.
So when I was at OVW, you had Ken Anderson, you had me, which my real name's Kenny, in case anyone doesn't know that. You had about 3 other Kenny Bolin. There was like 6 of us down there. So when I was going to stay in OVW, Kenny Bolin wanted to have I think he called the Kenny connection. He actually went to Cornette about it. He wanted to have the old Kennys, like even the Spirit Squad guy. He's named Kenny too. There was like 5 of us.
Dykstra.
So you'd always be wrestling Kenny, but you wouldn't know which one. Your opponent is Kenny. and they didn't know which one it was going to be. It's fine.
That's a great idea.
That's what it was going to be. So we'd all come out, and one of us would slide in. You wouldn't know you were working.
Was he not a guy that should have got a real good run on the main roster? Man, he as a manager, what a heat-getting magnet, man.
Tremendous.
Great
People
promo.
They don't even know, bro. They don't even know. He was tremendous. It would have been an honor to have him as good as Paul Bearer. Tremendous. That man lived that character. He was unbelievable at it. He was Kenny Bolin. He wasn't he was actually just Kenny Bolin. He was unbelievable.
Cornette did him no favors, and I always put him over for stealing the briefcase gimmick that I use liberally in matches. Rick Brooks, friend of the show, great guy, is saying about Nash losing a son can make you go through some changes. I would think. I guess so.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I appreciate, respect that comment, and it was nice of him to say that. If I lost my son, God forbid, I would not vote for Kamala Harris over it. It's not going to happen.
True. Well, speaking of WrestlePalooza, Bully Ray made some interesting comments about rehashing John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. No torch passed, and he was talking about, fans seem to be interested in the bout, but he said on Busted Open, I'm not really interested. So you're saying at WrestlePalooza, your prediction is Lesnar is going to destroy Cena, which will lead to a mini story for his last 4 or 5 appearances, culminating in his last match. There's no stakes. There's nothing up for grabs. What's the big deal? So if Cena and Brock play this out for the rest of Cena's appearances, who really wins? Yes, the fans get entertained, but no younger wrestler gets to say, I beat John Cena. I wrestled John Cena in his last match. This is very much about the passing of the torch, and now nobody maybe is worthy of having that torch passed to them, but I have to believe there's somebody out there. And just as a side note, Bully Ray recently, it seems, passed the torch because he got completely squashed by Zilla Fatu, the son of Umaga, in a recent match. So he has some credibility in terms of backing up what he says. What are your thoughts on this? Is he thinking too hard?
First off, Bully Ray, Bubba, Mark is a very good friend of mine, and I love him to death, and I value his opinion tremendously. He is wrong, and I'll tell you why. And here's a spoiler. Sami Zayn just wrestled John Cena, and they had a very good match, right? He also got F5 by Brock Lesnar, correct? Now Brock Lesnar is going to wrestle John Cena. Sami Zayn is going to get the rub. He's going to come out. He's going to cost Brock Lesnar the match. Run an angle with Brock Lesnar to get the rub off of that. That's the rub. That's going to be the push. And Bubba missed it, which is very unlike him.
And maybe Sammy is going to eliminate Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble as well.
Oh, stop.
It could be a variety of things.
No, they could do a Maven Undertaker thing.
I am going to say this, and you guys are going to be stunned. He is such a weirdo, I'm starting to believe in him. Because he's so unlikable, he's starting to be liked. That's what's going on with Sami Zayn, and I can't for the life of me.
Well, the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia, so we already know he's going to win it there for political reasons.
We don't know that. We don't know.
We do.
Put that drink down. I don't want to hear that. If you're gonna have,
he said it.
I said this before. Because of where the Royal Rumble is, he's going to win it.
No.
Well, then you might as well have AJ Lee eliminate Brock Lesnar. That is ridiculous.
Could Sammy win the Elimination Chamber after the Rumble? Possibly. He's not winning the Royal Rumble. No.
Just let him win everything. Let him win everything.
He's going to run the gauntlet. He'll be the first. What are they? The Grand Slam. He's going to hold all the women's belts by the time he's done.
Oh, why not? Why not? Hey,
Maybe he wins the Rumble and cashes in on Charlotte Flair.
hey, look, predictive
Saudi
programming.
Arabia.
Yeah, predictive
Saudi
programming.
Arabia, he's got to just beat the piss out of her in front of her.
He'll come out number.
Beat her harder.
They'll do, because it's Saudi Arabia, they'll do a 60-man Royal Rumble. He'll come out number 1 and he'll still win it.
Okay, if that happens, I will not cover or watch another WWE event ever.
I digress.
Ever.
Let's get back to the Bully Ray. So Bully Ray wants John Cena to pass the torch. Brock is a bigger star than Cena. So if you're going to pass the torch, you wrestle Lesnar. Lesnar then gets in it with Sammy, and then Lesnar passes the torch.
Brock Lesnar will never do a job for Sami Zayn, ever.
Brock
You
Lesnar
really
will
think
do
he will?
anything for $2 million. Don't give me that bullshit.
Wow. I don't know. I don't think so, but I guess we'll have to see. And we'll talk about the Beater of Worlds with our last story. But before that, Jeff Jarrett commented, did you see that Andrade was either fired because of a wellness policy violation, another one allegedly, or was escorted off SmackDown recently? This makes like multiple times that he's been fired back and forth. And Andrade, Jeff Jarrett praised him, saying, and it's true, he's got incredible athletic ability. He's got an aura, works his ass off, has a boatload of potential, but he's saying, he's been removed from AAA. Then there was the AW schmoz where he wasn't happy there and he wanted to go back. And now he's been let go from WWE twice. And he says that basically he needs to look at the man in the mirror and find out where this is all going wrong. I don't know if you remember about 2016-ish, when he was a real big deal in Mexico and he was touted as basically the next Rey Mysterio. That hasn't come to fruition yet, but man, he's got the physical gifts. There's just something that's not coming together. It might be attitude. What do you make of him being released again? Oh, and MJF is teasing a challenge to him or rejecting a challenge to him to come back to AEW. What do you make of this situation?
It was married to Charlotte Flair for a long time. Is there animosity backstage with him and Charlotte? Was it getting awkward? They're going to pick Charlotte over him all day long. Failed wellness policy. Do they even have a wellness policy anymore? They're all smoking weed left and right. I don't know. I have no idea anymore.
I think weed is I think is exempt from the wellness policy.
Right, and it seems to be selectively applied again.
I mean, it could be, right? Listen, when I was there and they started the dress code, right? And only select guys had to wear the Undertaker did it because he was the leader, right? And he was like, he's here to do what everybody else. But John Cena didn't have to wear it. Punk wasn't wearing it. There's a lot of guys that weren't wearing what they were supposed to wear. I was, and it sucked. I think maybe Adderall. I don't know what he failed for, but I honestly would say it's probably awkward with him and Charlotte backstage. So they found a reason to get rid of him, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Is that not a cautionary tale? While I know my good friend, shout out to Ben Hameen of the Hameen Media Group, he always talks about the downfalls of dating or whatever coupling in the industry, and it's very tempting because of the theory of proximity and you're on the road and blah blah blah. But man, oh man, this seems to be another example, and I mean that could be stretched into the private sector too. If you're working in an office and something happens, blah blah blah. But don't you think with the money on the line that they really should not be? I mean, find something else, find somewhere else to put your romantic interests.
Talk to the Godfather.
Well, Mr. Ryder certainly
You never
has.
on the road with the Godfather. You notice that's a very good Godfather will get you there. Hey, listen.
With no commitments.
The statement that was made is look at the man in the mirror. And you know what? I tell that to my own crew. You should look at the man in the mirror every single day and figure out where you're failing at. There's only one perfect person in history. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for WWE. Can't live up to that standard. God rest him. But admit your faults and fix them. Go fix them. Go work on them. If the guy's got an issue, fix it. Everybody's already told Andrade what the problem is. If it's the same thing happening for the same reason, he knows what the problem is. Only he can take care of it. But the common denominator is Charlotte is there and she's dating another dude.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where he lands. I bet you he ends up back in AEW if he hasn't signed there, and hopefully he can get his stuff together. So
let me. I'm sorry to cut you. Is it that easy to go back and forth now?
Must be. I've got a question, guys, and I'm thinking, the way that WWE haven't been doing surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble now for a good few years. What if in Saudi Arabia, let's just say maybe 16, 17, the return of Muhammad Hassan? Would the Royal Rumble be suddenly better in Saudi Arabia if that happened?
If he comes in and starts fucking cutting people's heads off. Let me tell you something. That kid was so over, Hunter and them buried him. He was so over, it was unbelievable. And they buried him. And he's Italian. He's not even from the...
Yeah, but what a time it would be to bring him back.
Holy cow, he was so over. He was so over. The news was picking up on it, like Fox.
And he looked great as well.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong. He could work. He could talk. He was awesome. And they did the Undertaker, and then it was the Shane twins and two other guys carried his body out of the ring. It went crazy.
Undertaker gave him the last ride through the stage, and he was never seen again.
Never seen again. They had to get rid of him because the sponsors. It was the sponsors that got him. It wasn't even WWE. Couldn't even repackage him. He was that.
They
could have easily repackaged him.
You had to put him with Sergeant Slaughter and bring him back as the Iraqi sympathizers.
His name's Mark Capani, I believe, and he is from this general area. He's from upstate New York, and
what a good kid.
Went on to be a very successful. I guess he's a high school principal, and he made a mini comeback a few years ago and did some dates with I believe it was Immortal Championship Wrestling, and kind of got it out of his system. But I agree with you; they left money on the table with him.
They got, you know what? They got scared, and I'm amazed Vince got scared of the sponsors because he's not the guy that would. He must have been really bad.
Well, it was the fact. It was the fact that they had that hostage storyline, and it was pre-recorded, but it aired the day of the London bombings, and that would just kind of set shit off.
It's bad timing.
That was the problem. It wasn't even recorded on the day. It was when they used to pre-tape SmackDown on a Tuesday, I believe, and they used to show it on Thursdays. Yeah.
SmackDown was our favorite show to tape because you could screw up and they would just tell you to do it again. Notice there's no botches on SmackDown.
Not that you botched anything at all.
If you could find me versus the Duffs.
Oh, well.
Me and Julio Sanchez versus the Duffs. You want to see me botch something? Watch that.
The Duffs, one of them broke Kid Cash's jaw, and he's still hot about that to this day.
Kid Cash is hot about everything to this day. He's been banned for 35 years.
What a talent. Lucky he didn't hit me with a chair in Philly.
I love Kid Cash. He's a very good guy. I texted him a couple weeks ago.
Great guy. The final story is from Vince Russo, and this is a direct quote. He says, "I promise you, Sami Zayn is going to become the world champion at WrestleMania 42." And he predicted, here's how he's laying it out, that the underdog from the underground will win the men's Royal Rumble, like Morris says, and then will secure the world championship at WrestleMania, and I'll read you the quote. Clearly and obviously, they're 100% behind Sami Zayn. Clearly and obviously, no questions about it. He's the United States champion. He's going to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi, and I promise you, at WrestleMania, he's going to be the world champion. That's where they're going with Sami. Push, 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 Sami. Now, the interesting part about this is there seems to be two camps now on the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community. Those that are like where I fall, sick and tired of the over push of this guy, and then those that are defending him somehow as the underdog storyline that they did with Daniel Bryan, and they believe that I guess this guy would be a credible world champion. Aside from all the hyperbole, etc., you don't expect this guy to actually draw if they do pull the trigger on him, and I'm not convinced they will 100%. But this guy will be one of the lowest drawing world champions of all time, and also not credible.
It's a long way between now and January. That's the one thing I will say. If the Royal Rumble had to be a bit closer to where we are now, as we're only in September, I would say yes, but a lot could change between now and January.
Well, next year's WrestleMania is in Vegas, right? He's not winning the world title next year. It's not happening.
They'll save it for the year after.
If he wins, it'll be the year after. He's not winning the WWE title. He might win that second tier belt, which
but the Royal Rumble,
so
the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia though, so he's going to probably win next year's Royal Rumble and the year after.
He is absolutely not winning the Royal Rumble this year. He is absolutely not winning the Royal Rumble this year.
2 in a row.
You want to know who my guess is to win the Royal Rumble this year?
Yes.
Chris Jericho.
Killer Cross.
That would be great if he came out as a surprise and did it.
And surely Jericho is going to be it at the Royal Rumble when his contract is running out.
Jericho will probably be in the Rumble. He's not going to win.
His contract is out in December.
I'm at 80%. Killer Cross comes in at like number 23 to the loudest pop since Steve Austin.
But that's not going to happen, the pop, because it's in Saudi Arabia and there's no atmosphere there.
Well, they'll pipe it in then.
Okay.
Pretend it's Thunderdome. They'll pipe it in. Did you know? I'm going to tell you guys a story about Thunderdome, right? This is crazy. So during COVID, the screens around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Vince would sit in the back, and Vince had a little button that would turn up crowd noise. It was fake crowd noise, and he would turn it up louder for some guys than other guys because he wanted other guys to sound like they were more over.
Mm.
So he would that's too loud for him. Turn that down. So you knew if Vince liked you based on how high they turned the fake crowd noise up for you in the fake arena.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Terrible. Imagine you're out there and it's like crickets in an empty room.
The only credible thing match I think that came from any empty arena scenario COVID deal was that Undertaker AJ Styles at WrestleMania, that graveyard match. I really enjoyed that.
And you know what? You can thank Matt Hardy for all of that.
Yes.
Because he invented that match.
Mm-hmm. One empty arena match was the Mid-South Coliseum where it was Terry Funk against Jerry Lawler and the famous My Eye line. Those young fans, check that out. It's online and it's a classic. Do you remember that one, Mr. Ryder?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. It was about 1983 Funk versus Lawler. Check it out. It's a classic. But do you think Sami is showing his allegiance to Triple H too much by wearing gear or shirts such as this after this little love affair thing happened?
They have the same beard at this point.
Yeah, except you got a full hairline.
My God.
Well, I want to see. Here's the match I want to see. I want to see Sami Zayn in a shoot fight with Billy Fives. That's the match. I want to see the shoot fight. We have to have Billy Fives on this. I want to hear him talk about Sami Zayn versus Billy Fives.
Let's book that for sure. It's certainly an ongoing thing, and part of the criticism of Triple H that he's booking for just the pops and not really doing long-term storyline booking. But again, I'll never, unfortunately, change my opinion on this guy. But again, I'm probably not the target demo, so who cares what I think? Quick programming note before we get final thoughts, folks. Yesterday, I recorded an interview with an amazing individual. You know him as Jimmy Wang Yang, Mr. James Young. He's got an autobiography dropping October 1st, and we are going to drop the interview with Jimmy Wang Yang on October 1st as well.
I've got a question. Is he still driving the party buses?
He didn't talk about JBL at all?
No, but I'll tell you one thing. Just to answer your question quickly, Morris. No, he gave that up. He sold it, and he's back in Georgia. But I'll tell you this. A fan sent in a question to ask about Chris Benoit, and he gave the most candid, honest answer I've ever heard about the whole, when he found out about it, the whole deal with the tribute. And man, fans are going to want to tune in to see. It was a great interview. The guy's a riot.
I thought amazing guy, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He didn't mention JBL one. You got to be kidding.
No, not now. In fairness, I didn't ask him about JBL, but we got into. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't think so. We got into a lot of stuff, and that, like I said, that Benoit question, you're going to want to see that. So, final thoughts, guys, on this week. Any predictions for the weekend in terms of the big WrestlePalooza show that's happening on Saturday? Oh, and AEW's in Toronto as well. Can't forget that. All Out. But who do you think this weekend, Cena versus Lesnar?
Maurice should go first.
I think Brock will win that match. If they're planning on having two matches, well, then Cena will sneak a win somehow, maybe with the Mr. Zayn.
Sami Zayn is going to come out and save Cena from a beatdown. Lesnar gets disqualified, and Sami Zayn comes out for the save to start the angle with Lesnar. Lesnar will get Sami Zayn over. I don't know if he's going to put him over, but he's going
hopefully he puts him over his shoulders and drops him.
He's going to beat him up. He's going to earn it. If Lesnar gives it to him, he's going to earn it. He's not going to earn it easily. But I think Lesnar, if asked to do so, and if he likes him and respects him, he'll put him over. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be an interesting ride, but Cena's going to go over on Lesnar by disqualification because Sami, and then Sami Zayn's coming out.
Well, mark it down, folks. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. If I have the testicular fortitude to watch that happen, I think I'd cry in my Merlot. But we'll have to see. All signs are pointing that way. But I want to thank everyone once again for watching this episode of Ryder's Wrestling Review. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We're the little engine that could and going nothing but up. Until next time, for Morris and the Big Bad Wolf, I'm Jack.